New tonight at 10, just released video of the head football coach and alumni director at Marquette University High School being arrested for drunk driving.
The video was taken from the dashboard camera of a patrol officer in Elm Grove early in the morning of April 1st. There are several minutes of following the vehicle of Jeffrey Mazurchek. The officer notes movement across the traffic lines and a slight swerve during a turn. That's when he makes the decision to pull the driver over.
Mr. Mazurchek, how much you had to drink tonight?
Well, I was at a fundraiser at Marquette High.
Okay.
I'm the alumni director, and I was coming home from that, and
Just coming home to Wauwatosa? Okay.
Yep.
It's then that a field sobriety test was conducted. Another officer quickly comes into view and is on the scene watching the coach be put through his paces. The exchanges are cordial, but the result is dismaying. This high-profile coach is going to be cited for OWI.
We're just going to walk up to the front of this squad car here?
Yes, sir. Not going to give you guys any problem.
Okay, good deal. We appreciate it. All right, I just got to search you real quick. Do you have anything illegal on you?
No.
No? Okay.
No.
Police say Mazurchek had a blood alcohol content of 0.11. That's just over the legal limit of 0.08. The school says it's still reviewing the facts of this case and will take appropriate action, but that officials won't be meeting until after spring break. 2 years ago, Mazurchek, who's also the alumni director, replaced Dick Basham at Marquette High, one of the most respected and successful high school football coaches in the country. In 38 seasons, Basham won 9 state championships and racked up more victories than any other coach in Wisconsin history.
A nurse politely tells a woman she can't smoke in her hospital room. No big deal, right? But sheriff's deputies say that simple request led to an incredibly ugly scene at Frederick Hospital. 10 at 10's Keith Mecca is live at Frederick tonight with the details for us. Keith?
Paul, this criminal complaint details the violent attack by the patient on that nurse, all because that patient was not allowed to smoke inside the hospital. And tonight, we tracked that suspect down. 27-year-old Danielle Latham is charged with disorderly conduct after attacking that nurse here at Frederick Hospital late last month. Since 2007, Frederick has been smoke and tobacco-free inside and outside of the hospital, but Latham apparently didn't care. After the nurse told her she couldn't smoke in her room, witnesses say Latham burst into the hall and used profane language as she yelled, quote, "Where is that expletive deleted? I'm going to get you, expletive deleted, all because of a lighter," end quote. The victim says that Latham ran toward her, swinging her arms violently before pulling her hair very hard and ramming the side of her head into the wall and the nurse's counter. The nurse complained of soreness in her neck and shoulders. She was still recovering from a fused vertebrae surgery to her neck. We stopped by Latham's Northside apartment to talk with her about the incident. We're opening at your side of the story.
Oh,
No? Uh-uh. Latham faces 90 days in jail and a fine. If she's convicted, she'll be back in court next month. Now, she served some time in the House of Correction for a disorderly conduct case from 2006. Live at Frederick Hospital tonight, Keith Mecca for 10 at 10.
Thanks, Keith. A local man already on probation for reckless driving apparently didn't learn his lesson, and he put innocent drivers at risk. The sheriff says he's responsible for a rollover crash on I-43 near Walnut Street last night. Just 7 days earlier, he was put on probation for an injury accident. The accused is 21-year-old Vincent B. Page. He was allegedly drunk last night when witnesses say he was going 80 miles per hour, clipped some other cars, and flipped his own vehicle. All the injuries are said to be minor. Deputies also found an unlicensed gun in his car. A South Milwaukee McDonald's worker has been busted for using a customer's bank card to pay her cell phone bill. The criminal complaint says 23-year-old Sullivet Ortiz Fontanez told police her house was in foreclosure. She has 3 children and she needed to keep paying her phone bill. It took the customer, who lives in Oak Creek, months to realize somebody had taken nearly $2,000 out of her account. She used her bank card at the drive-thru.
We've now learned that 2 people have been arrested for shooting drugs allegedly near Whitefish Bay Middle School last week. Police confirmed for CBS 58 that a man and a woman, both 24 and both from Oak Creek, were arrested after witnesses reportedly saw them injecting themselves with drugs in their car in the 900 block of East Henry Clay. That's only a couple of blocks from the middle school and on the same street that many children use to get to and from. Published reports indicate the drug they were using was Percocet. That's a brand name for the prescription painkiller oxycodone. A man died on Milwaukee's north side this morning, and firefighters say he didn't have to.
I'm going to say it probably would have saved that gentleman's life, and that's just unfortunate.
The deputy chief is talking about the lack of smoke detectors in this house at 38th and Meineke. He says when crews first arrived, they started laying down lines to attack that fire, and that's when they found 37-year-old Glenn Walker unconscious on the floor of his basement. They later found he had no pulse and was not breathing.
He was a really sweet guy. He helped out the block. He cleaned up. I'm talking about from corner to corner. He helped out the elderly people.
The cause of that fire is still under investigation tonight, but police do not suspect any kind of foul play. Just hours later, Mayor Tom Barrett joined firefighters as they went door to door in that same neighborhood, passing out free smoke detectors.
Please, please, please make sure that you have a working smoke detector in your home. It may save your life. It may save your children's life. It may save the life of your mother or your father.
If you need a smoke detector, the fire department will come out and install one free of charge. You can call 414-286-8980 for more information.
At least 100 demonstrators gathered at the MLK statue in Milwaukee tonight and marched to Police District 5 that has been marred by allegations of illegal strip searches. 10 at 10 Sherry Dunn was there and joins us live with the details. Sherry? Welcome back as Eye to Eye goes one-on-one with Governor Scott Walker. As is tradition in December of each year, the presiding governor of the state of Wisconsin usually grants time with individual reporters at his executive residence in Madison. Since so often media opportunities are formal occasions or filled with chaos at big press events, the aim is to make a stronger connection with the viewers who are watching with a personalized setting. Despite the beautiful surroundings of the holiday decorations and a cozy fire, with this governor at this time, uncomfortable topics are bound to come up. And that's because it's not just a possible recall election hanging over Governor Scott Walker's head in the new year, but questions of impropriety after several staffers' names were leaked to the media in regards to an investigation that was supposed to be kept quiet. The John Doe investigation involving current, former staffers, a contributor, it doesn't look good. I mean, what is your thought on what is going on and the possible cloud that some might argue is over your administration?
Well, I would have most people stop for a second and consider the stories and the sources.
In the past, Governor Scott Walker has made quick comments going in and out of other events. But for the first time, while granting year-in-review interviews, he spoke at length about the John Doe investigation.
I've been in public servants for many years. I know what's appropriate, what's not appropriate, and I'm confident that I personally haven't violated any public trust.
The legally required secrecy of such investigations was shattered with the FBI raid on the home of Cynthia Archer earlier this year. She had resigned from the Walker administration just a month earlier, reassigned to a state job in the Department of Children and Families. Soon, other names would be leaked. Cullen Weary reportedly granted immunity, the governor's press secretary. And one-time contributor, real estate developer Andrew Jensen, held in jail overnight, but never charged.
The sources are one of two people. They're either people who don't know what they're talking about or people who are violating the law. So those stories are all built off of those two sources, because under the law, if somebody knows what they're talking about, they can't talk about it. And if they don't know, they're not under that obligation.
Regardless, the unnamed sources have given some details about what's at issue. That Walker staffers might have posted anonymous comments on blogs and campaigned on work time, stretching back to Governor Walker's days as Milwaukee County executive. However, legal observers say usually such matters don't require years of investigating, leading to further speculation that something more sinister is afoot, and nobody knows when it all may be put to bed.
So it's really hard for me to comment on any of that. I haven't been directly involved. I don't know what's going on either. And for me, the rest of it's speculating over people who either don't know or who are violating the law to get there.
Two others have been granted immunity that we know of, a railroad lobbyist and a person described as a low-ranking Republican operative. But there are also questions about ties between the Walker administration and a certain attorney who advised a certain state Supreme Court justice whose vote tipped the scales in favor of the Walker administration.
This is not just a rule, it is the law. There must be.
When Republican leaders approved a provision of the Walker budget that stripped away most collective bargaining rights for state union workers, they did so in a special meeting that was called while Democrats left the state in opposition. It sparked a lawsuit that went all the way to the state Supreme Court, which in a split decision ruled the meeting was in fact legal. But in the final month of the year, new questions emerged about whether the case should be reopened. That's because one of those voting in favor of the Walker administration, Justice Michael Gableman, received free legal advice from an attorney years earlier, an attorney who's part of the law firm that represented the Walker administration in the collective bargaining case.
Okay, just so you're clear, it's not a lawyer for the administration.
Okay.
The lawyer who was on a panel with multitudes of other attorneys reviewing things who ultimately ended up resigning from that.
Before our sit-down interview at the executive residence in Madison recently, Walker was quoted in other media outlets as saying he was reviewing whether his administration should cut ties with the particular attorney who gave the free advice. But with me, the governor sought to create greater distance between himself and the lawyer.
What he did or may have not done in terms of the justice, again, I know from the news, but I don't know the particulars because that's a third branch of government and I don't have any direct oversight over any of the justices, just as I did earlier this year when 2 other justices had their problems out
So
there.
there's not a direct association with this lawyer in your administration?
Correct. Now, again, that's not to say that there might not be
There's
issues.
kind of a line of connection that
Well, yeah,
people are drawing because they're looking to
Well, exactly. And any of
call
these
your
things-
credibility into question, right?
Exactly, but I would say but even from that standpoint, even though he's on a panel that deals with multitudes of other attorneys out there, the reality is nothing that has been done for us that anybody can call into question. The question is what may or may not happen with this particular justice. And again, without being in a supervisory role or a position where I have oversight over that, that's hard for me to comment. All I can say is the things that we do in the executive branch in our administration, I think are overwhelmingly rock solid.
The Dane County District Attorney, who originally filed the challenge to the collective bargaining vote, says he may ask the court to reopen the case. The Supreme Court's 4-3 vote in favor overturned a lower judge's ruling that said the collective bargaining law was not valid because legislators broke the state's open meetings law. So imagine this, if the case is heard again, the state Supreme Court would likely be deadlocked 3 each, and that could mean the lower judge's ruling would stand. And we'll move on to other topics after this short break. Coming up, what about the jobs promise? And did Governor Walker have to also push concealed carry and voter ID? Has Scott Walker been too heavy-handed and not gracious in victory? We ask him one-on-one on this edition of CBS 58's Eye to Eye. We begin with breaking news, a 2-alarm fire near Cedarburg. A commercial building caught fire just after 7 tonight. It's unclear if this is just a structure fire or any other materials might be burning. Because this is a commercial building, extra firefighters were called in. We're told this is the Attico Steel Product Corporation on Highway 60. It's a metal stamping and fabrication facility. So far, no word on any injuries, but we'll continue to monitor developments and bring you any updates as they become available about this 2-alarm fire near Cedarburg tonight. Now to our top story. It could have been disastrous. A woman speeding down I-94 in the wrong direction and right in the middle of rush hour.
And that entire incident was caught on video. 10 at 10's Keith Mecca standing by live with the latest. Keith?